One of the questions that I get asked all the time by clients is, do they have the resources in order to keep thinking of new content? Because at the end of the day on social media, if you're going to constantly try to come up with new content, you have to have the brain power and the time designated to be able to find that content and come up with those ideas. So I wanted to shoot this video today and come up with 6 ways that we try to help speed up the process of finding new content to post to your social media platforms. Before we get started, this is a new YouTube channel and it means a lot to me if you can subscribe and then give me comments below on if this video provides you with value. As we get going, I want to keep creating and correcting and try to give you guys as much as I can. All right, the number one thing that you need to do when you're looking to create content before you even start, and this goes without saying, is you would have to know who your customer is. You have to have an idea of the demographic that you're going after. And the reason this is so important is when you're trying to find content ideas, you're gonna find those ideas and you're gonna find those inspiration where your customers look. So for example, I'm not going to go and find ideas on entrepreneurship on a younger platform like Snapchat in comparison to looking for ideas of content on YouTube or on LinkedIn. Then after you know your demographic, you have to go and you have to find a direction. So number 2 is to have a strategy, to have a direction. And the reason this is important is I find that sometimes brands go a little bit off the rails and they go over a wide spectrum and try to create a ton of different content. When you're building a brand, we always talk about brand unity. You want to have as much unity in your brand as possible across platforms while still making native content to each platform that you're putting your content on. When you're building your direction, the one tip that I can give you is to focus on what's authentic to your brand. Do not try to be something that you're not. A couple points that have helped me in the past have been to focus on what you're good at first. Focus on what your brand is good at, focus on what you're good at. So for example, for me, I really liked building and talking to other people. So we started #TalkToJV. That was something that was easy for us to do, even though I was a little nervous in the beginning. It allowed me to start to talk to other people, to get my confidence up, and then that allowed us to expand the strategy as time went on. To get a little bit more specific with that, that's about planning out things like having an intro, having an outro, having a hook at the beginning of your videos or the beginning of your content, having a direction on where you want to take your brand towards the customers that you came up with in step 1. All right, number 3. This one's also a little obvious, but sometimes I see clients go too far in following this, and that is go look at what your competitors are doing. Sometimes it helps you to get an idea of where the direction in your industry is going, but recognize that you can't dwell on this. You have to focus on what you're good at. You have to focus on your uniqueness and your authenticity, and then take that to your brand. So it's sometimes good to go take a look at what they're doing, but you don't want to carbon copy them because that's not you, that's not your brand. Focus on exactly the core competencies of your products. Focus on what you're good at and what you think the direction of your company is going towards. This is not about going to steal the ideas of the competitors. It's just about seeing where your industry is going, knowing what the trends are, and then being able to execute them quickly when the time comes. Number 4, pay attention to what's going on in the real world. Some of my best ideas come when I'm walking down the street downtown, looking at a new billboard that's on the sign, looking at a new digital display. Sometimes snooping a little bit and seeing what people are doing on their phones and asking them what platforms they're using. I really get a lot of information from the real world still and what people are doing in traditional, because we believe that you can take traditional content and bring it online. That's what we've been doing. We've been taking advertising of old and bringing it online. Now, it doesn't work piece for piece. You have to morph that content to be native on each platform. But there's a lot of good ideas out there that you can still find in the traditional sense right in the real world. Number 5, this is something that took me a while to realize. You have to ask for advice from the people that know you best. Recognize that when you're thinking of content, you're coming up with ideas. If you just come up with ideas based on what's in your own head, you often don't cover the full scope of the customers you're going after. So first of all, if you don't have the resources to run a focus group or to go out and talk to your demographic in real life, you have to find ways to either message them online, send out questions online, talk to them on Twitter, go into the groups related to your business and ask for people's feedback, get information on what they want to see. And then on an even more basic level, talk to the people that know you best. Talk to the people around you. Talk to the people that understand you. And that works best when you're developing a personal brand, but it also works when you're selling a product or building a company brand. Talk to the people within your business and within the immediate sphere. They often are removed 1 or 2 steps from where you are creating the content, where you're right in it every day. Sometimes they can spark the best ideas that can come, and that will make the best content for your brand. Now, number 6. Number 6 is an important one to me because when I'm staying up late and I'm trying to come up with content, and that's when I do my best work, from 9 to 11 o'clock at night when I have some freedom, I can sit down and just think of content for the next day. I like searching online on platforms that are not as popular where sometimes information breaks. So I go to groups on Reddit. I go to groups within Facebook and within LinkedIn, just kind of a little deeper. And that builds on the last point, that builds from number 5, where you're going out and asking people and sending out questions. But I like to go and I like to read the comments. And it originated from something that Gary V had said, and I took it to heart. And when you're in the grind and you have just a little bit of brain space at the end of the day in order to think of new content for the next day, going to read comments is one of the best things that you can do within those groups, because you get a good perspective on what people are thinking and what they're engaging with. And at the end of the day, when we're making content, we're trying to get engagement, we're trying to build a brand and develop a relationship with our audience. So knowing what they're looking for and understanding what they're looking for is really important. And if you take anything from this video, take number 6 to heart. You can on a low budget and just a little bit of time each day, get some amazing ideas based on what people are saying online. And you don't really have to do anything. You just have to dedicate the time and go read the comments. Thanks, guys. Like I said at the beginning of the video, we're just getting this started. So if you can hit the subscribe button or at least leave me a comment on if this video provided you with any value. We're all about value. I want to give you as much value as possible. Let me know. Thanks.